Revelations.Unveiled.Detroit.
Continuing with Israelites in Africa, debunking Pan-African Kemetic conscience science and Euro-centric Christianity. Nigeria, Africa. The Igbo Jews. In Nigeria, the tribe called the Igbo say that they were, or they are, Jews and practice the same customs of the Jews of the Bible. And it's funny, family, there is a interview with, T.D. Jakes, indicating, or him admitting to being an Igbo. So he can trace his family back to Nigeria and the Jews of the Igbo, or are the Igbo. Here's a quote from a CNN article below about them. King Eri, like many, claims that the Igbo are the Jews of West Africa. They believe they are descendants of at least one of Israel's lost tribes. In the 8th century BC, the Assyrians invaded Israel's northern kingdom, forcing 10 tribes into exile. Historians say it is not unlikely that these tribes migrated westward to Africa. So the Igbo claim to be one of the northern tribes of the house of Israel. In the country of Cameroon, Africa, the Bani Israel, they trace their lineage to two clans, Silla and Drame. They say are descended from Egyptian Jews. We are all practicing Muslims and we don't want to become Jewish, Fadiga says. In fact, we do not like to talk too much about our Israelite background, but we don't hide it either. We know our people came from Egypt to Somalia and from there to Nigeria, where they split about 1,000 years ago. One branch of the two families went to Mali, Africa, another to Guinea, Africa, and we settled here. So between Cameroon, Mali, and Guinea, there was a clan or a family of Jews that migrated throughout this area within the interior of the continent. All of you Kemetic conscious Pan-Africans. Zimbabwe, country, Africa. Zimbabwe. The Limba tribe in Zimbabwe state they are Jews and practice the same customs as the Jews of the Bible. Back in the 1990s, a black tribe called the Limba that reside in Zimbabwe had their DNA tested in a study done by the Center for Genetic Anthropology at University College London. The DNA test confirmed that the Limba had the same DNA sequences as the Israelite priests that many believe to be the descendants of Aaron, the older brother of Moses. The results from the study means that the Limba tribe shared the same DNA as the ancient Israelites. A DNA study done on Sephardic Jews, by family tree DNA showed that the DNA sequences that are found in predominantly sub-Saharan Africans and African Americans were present during the formation of the ancient Israelites. The oral history of our people migrating from Israel to West Africa matches up with book history. So family, the Limba, if they have the DNA sequences of Aaron and Moses, those are the tribes of Levi, and they were in Zimbabwe. All right. Another source, in his book, The Great Roman Jewish War, the Roman historian Flavius Josephus stated over thousands of years ago that the Israelites migrated into Africa. He writes, millions of Jews fled into Africa, among other places, fleeing from Roman persecution and starvation during the Roman siege. DNA evidence. Here is the crucial DNA evidence. This DNA evidence actually proves that Black people's ancestors come from Israel. In 2016, a genetic study called The Genetic Structure of the World's First Farmers, led by a professor from the Department of Genetics of Harvard University, showed that the same DNA, E1B1A, that African Americans have can be traced back to Israel. The same genetic code can be found in Blacks in Latin America and the Caribbean. Many Blacks still in Africa, as well as other Black people around the world, Asia and Europe, etc. What makes our people unique is that our history can be found in the Bible. The Bible contains prophecies or predictions about the future. God of the Bible predicted the Atlantic slave trade thousands of years before it occurred. Well, actually, all of the slave trades were predicted, and many of the major captivities are written already in the Holy History. In the Bible, God made a covenant or an agreement with the people of the kingdom of Judah, or the Israelites, and they broke the agreement. Why did God make a covenant with our ancestors? God selected our ancestors, Israelites, to be his chosen people. They were chosen to carry out the will of God and to be an example for how the world should act. For thou art holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen you to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 15 through 68 details the covenant God made with the Israelites. A part of the covenant was if they followed God's laws and commandments, they would be blessed, have their own land, and would be wealthy. Those are the first verses 1 through 14. The other part of the covenant was if they broke the laws and did not keep the commandments, God would allow numerous curses to come upon them. The Bible states that these curses would be a sign upon the Israelites and their descendants forever. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon you and shall pursue you and overtake you till you be destroyed, because you listened not unto the voice of the Lord your God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded you, and they shall fall upon you for a sign and for a wonder, and upon your seed forever. The curses of the covenant start Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 15 through 68, family. As stated in verse 46, the curses help us to identify those who are the Israelites today. What are some of the curses that would identify the Israelites? One of the curses would be going into slavery by ships. Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring you into Egypt. So, in Egypt, before Moses led the children out from the Pharaoh, the Israelites were enslaved, in bondage and captivity, building the treasured cities of Pharaoh. So Egypt means bondage, captivity. And the Lord shall bring you into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto you. You shall see it no more again. So the Lord said he's going to bring you into slavery again with ships, just as the way it is outlined right here the day I tell you, and you will see your homeland no more. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. So when you get off of the ship, wherever you are dispersed, you will be sold unto your enemy. So the buyer and the seller will be your enemy, and you will become a slave man and a slave woman. And no man on earth or leader or institution or movement shall redeem you from that captivity. Egypt is a Greek word. The Hebrew name for Egypt is Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim means bondage or slavery. The Egypt being referred to in this passage is not literal Egypt. The curse is saying that the Israelites will go into slavery globally by ships. The curse fell upon Black people during the Atlantic slave trade, the Sub-Saharan slave trade, the Indian slave trade, and the Silk Road slave trade. During the Atlantic slave trade, it is estimated that a total of 12 million Africans were scattered to the United States and Latin America. Another one of the curses was having a yoke of iron put on your necks. Yokes of iron were placed on our ancestors' necks during slavery. Therefore shall you serve your enemies, which the Lord shall send against you in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon your neck until he has destroyed you. Other curses were the rape of our women and to break up families during the captivity. You shall betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. You shall build a house, and you shall not dwell therein. You shall plant a vineyard and shall not gather the grapes thereof. Deuteronomy 28, verse 30. Your sons and your daughters shall be given unto another people, and your eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in your hand. 28:32. The book of Deuteronomy. You shall beget sons and daughters, but you shall not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28:41. These passages apply to the Atlantic slave trade and air slave trade and other global slave trades, in which the wives of African men were raped by many European, Arab, and other nations' slave owners. It also describes how the children of black men and women were sold away into slavery as well. Many black families were torn apart during slavery. The fruit of your land and all your labors shall a nation which you know not eat up, and you shall be only oppressed and crushed always. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 33. This passage means that the Israelites would labor in a nation, all the nations where they were scattered, and that the country where they were in would get wealthy off of that labor. The passage also says that the Israelites would not enjoy the fruits of their own labor. The countries that participated in these global slave trades and bondage got rich off the free labor of the blacks or the nation of Israel. Blacks did not receive reparations, but many slave owners did. Other curses were fatherless homes, divisions between our families, as well as a lack of unity within our race. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his seed, which he shall leave. Emphasis on toward the remnant of his seed, or his children, which he shall leave. And the other curses cover illness and disease. The Lord shall smite you with a consumption, and with a fever, and with an inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue you until you perish. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 22. Also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon you until you be destroyed. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 61. Black people are almost 13 to 14% of the American population, but are 42% of HIV patients. Black people have the highest death rate of cancer and the lowest rate of survival when battling cancer than any other race in America. Black people have the highest death rates from heart disease from any other race in America. Black people are most at risk for kidney disease. Black people are most at risk for lung disease. Currently, Black people are dying at a higher rate of the global pestilence and plague than any other group of people in America. Despite the present conditions of our people, the Bible states that once our people turn back to God, The curses will be lifted and we will return to our homeland. And it shall come to pass, when all these things come upon you, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before you, and you shall call them to mind among all the nations where the Lord your God has driven you. And you shall return unto the Lord your God, and shall obey his voice, according to all that I command you this day. You and your children with all your heart and with all your soul. Then the Lord your God will turn your captivity and have compassion upon you, and will return and gather you from all the nations where the Lord your God has scattered you. If any of you be driven out unto the outmost part of heaven, from there will the Lord your God gather you, and from there will he fetch you. And the Lord your God will bring you into the land which your fathers possessed, and you shall possess it. And he will do you good and multiply you above your fathers. And the Lord your God will circumcise your heart and the heart of your seed to love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, and you may live. And the Lord your God will put all these curses upon your enemies and on them that hate you, which persecuted you. And you shall return and obey the voice of the Lord and do all his commandments, which I command you this day. This is Brother Moses talking to the people, family. And the Lord your God will make you plenteous in every work of your hand, in the fruit of your body, and in the fruit of your cattle, and in the fruit of your land for good. For the Lord will again rejoice over you for good, as he rejoiced over your fathers. All praises, family. So we have to continue with the distinctions and the differences between the holy nation, the 12 tribes of the house of Israel. And these are sample sources that will define, reinforce the investigations and the unveiling of knowledge as we trace the migration and make identifications of tribes in various countries of Africa on the continent. All those black people are not the same. You have native African tribes, the sons of Ham. You have the sons of Ishmael that live on the continent called the Mohammedans or the Islamics. And then you have the wandering Jews where we run here and there to and fro and are hiding, being crypto amongst these nations for survival. And many of the slave ports were in these communities of these Israelites in the borders of the interiors of Africa, and they were captured and bartered and sold and transported and dispersed to all four corners of the globe. We are not African. We are not the sons of Ham. We are the holy people, and our history is biblical. The slave trades are documented in the curses. We are not them. We are separate from the world. So, a direct address to the pseudo Pan-African Kemetic conscious community and the white supremacy degenerate Christian Theology and Philosophy Church. We will continue to unveil the revelations of the holy people, the niggas, the Negroes, the colored, the people of color, the minorities, the the African Americans, the black people. And until we are together again, I love you. I love you. I love you. To be continued. Revelations.Unveiled.Detroit.